welcome Madridistas. I've just seen that my t-shirt is very unironed. I apologise. For the huge audience that I'm entertaining, I should be smarter. I've got some transfer updates to talk about. It's not something I really do on this channel. I'm not a journalist. I've got better things to do than be reading rumours all day and making videos about them, especially rumours that are never going to happen. But it's been quite an eventful last 24 hours, and it is a Madrid channel, so I wanted to chat about them. So there's four players that I want to discuss. We've got Trent, Stiller, the Stuttgart midfielder, Alvaro Carreras, the left back from Benfica, and also some Rodrygo updates. So let's get into it then. So obviously, first of all, Trent has signed. It's been announced today. He's on a 6-year contract until 2031. Fantastic news. We knew this was happening. Can't really say it's news, but I'm very excited that Madrid, the area of the pitch that we most needed reinforcements in from last season, of course, was the defence. And before June, we've already got Huijsen signed and Trent signed. I love the way Madrid conduct their business in the transfer market. They pick targets, they go for it, they don't drag things on the way other clubs do. And I think with Trent joining, if Carvajal can get back to his best, we might have the two best right backs in the world, maybe. Dumfries might have something to say about that, but it's certainly an upgrade having Carvajal and Trent than having Carvajal and Lucas Vazquez. So, and also stylistically, it's an interesting switch because 6-7 years ago, I thought back then we also had the two best fullbacks in the world in Marcelo on one side and Carvajal on the other. And Marcelo was the player given complete freedom to do whatever he wanted in the attacking part of the field, and Ramos would have to cover for him or Casemiro. And Carvajal was the two-way fullback who defended very well and also tried to attack. Whereas now we're going to switch this, and I think hopefully Trent will be given complete freedom to do what he wants on the right. And this brings me on to our new left back, hopefully, Alvaro Carreras. Now, this is not a player that I know too much about, but he's certainly much more of a two-way fullback. He's stronger and he's much more defensively sound than Marcelo ever was, for sure. But I'm not going to say I'm excited about this transfer, other than the fact that I'm excited that Madrid are aware that the left-back situation is an area that we need to improve, because Frank Garcia, I just don't think is good enough, and Mendy needs to be sold. He's just not reliable anymore. So the reports coming out of Marca and AS are that Madrid have started talking again with Benfica now that their season has ended, and they were waiting for the cup final, the domestic cup final, to end, and that Madrid want to get this done before the Club World Cup, but they don't want to pay the 50 million euro release clause. So, it just feels like this is going to happen, this signing. So, very happy with that, and if we can get those three defensive reinforcements in, I am over the moon with Madrid's transfer business. So, yep. Now, if Alvaro Carreras does sign, I think I'll make a video going into more depth about his strengths, his weaknesses, if I think he's going to be a good signing. But for now, let's wait until he's signed. But the big news from this morning is Stiller, the Stuttgart midfielder. Now, the reports coming out from Marca are that Madrid have really stepped up their enthusiasm, let's say, for this signing, and are leading the race to sign him. Now, he's 24 years old. He came through the Bayern Academy. He played 2 seasons at Hoffenheim, and he's just had 2 seasons at Stuttgart. Now, this is a player I do know more than Alvaro Carreras. I have seen him play in more games. I watched him against Bayern Munich last season. He's a left-footed defensive midfielder, but he's someone that's quite comfortable in tight spaces. He can dribble. He's got good distribution. He plays the ball quickly. He doesn't hold on to the ball, which is something it annoys me a little bit with some of our midfielders, that they take too many touches when they don't need to. But it would be interesting if there are any people watching this video who actually know about him. I would like to ask you if he's a player that, because from me, he picks the ball up quite deep, quite often. I've seen him get the ball from the midfield, from the goalkeeper, for example. But he often seems to be a player who doesn't mind attacking as well, and doesn't mind getting into the box. His numbers don't reflect this, though. This is why I'm curious about asking maybe if there are any Stuttgart fans that know about him. I mean, if I read out his stats, in the Bundesliga last season, he played 32 games and he got 1 goal. And in the season before that, he played 31 games and also got 1 goal. Now, in that time, though, he got 8 assists and 5 assists. So that's pretty impressive, especially from a defensive midfielder. But that does suggest to me, though, that there is more to his game. I don't think he's just a pure Casemiro or Makelele, that a type of midfielder that doesn't have any interest to really attack. So yeah, I'd be curious to know more about him, if anyone does know. But I made a video recently about Nico Paz and why I'm not so sure if that signing is the type of profile that we need. But with this guy, I am very excited about his profile. I think he fits everything that we need. So if we can get this signing done, 40, 50 million seems to be the reported price. Great price for a 24-year-old. Fantastic. And the last piece of news then is with Rodrygo. Now, I've been reading recently, I've got the quote here. There's a journalist, a Spanish journalist called Tomas Roncero, who's been, I think he works for AS, if I'm not mistaken. But I quote this morning, he said, well, like with everyone, only the club and he really knows what's happening. Obviously, Rodrygo we're talking about. But right now, as far as I know, Rodrygo is staying. There's a conversation to have with the coach. He's back in training in Madrid, where he's going to explain his feelings and his disagreements and why he's been frustrated with the season. But that basically, if Madrid were to sell him, they would then have to go and get a replacement, and with Rodrygo, you already know what you're going to get. Whereas with the replacement, there's more uncertainty. And I think maybe if we could have got Wirtz in, I know they're a completely different type of player, but he seems to be a world-class talent. With him possibly going to Liverpool, it's very difficult to find a replacement for Rodrygo. Even though I don't believe Rodrygo is world-class, I do think he has his limitations. But I really like him as a player, so I would have no problem with Rodrygo staying. But yeah, so there's just some thoughts. Just a quick rambling. I hope it was kind of interesting, maybe. Feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear from you if you're interested. And see you on the next one. Bye-bye.